online social break. I don't know how long. Um, I think that the online social apps, even just where people can talk out, is starting to get too toxic, y'all. And I'm pretty much tired of seeing so many videos with people just complaining. It's like we're just living in complainingville. I feel like there's just too many people complaining. See, now you see the problem with not that many people being creative. Because we have a creative block epidemic, and because people don't really go dancing no more, now a lot of people just sitting around complaining and venting all day, overworking their throat chakras online. The world needs to get, America needs to get back to being creative. Like, I'm serious. Like, when I talk to people offline, they talking about, all they want to do is complain. And when I ask them whatever creativity they doing, they can't tell me. You know, the creator didn't meant for us to just sit around up on these apps and complain and do passive complaining too. I see people putting videos up and it's passive complaining. They're trying to make it seem like they're not complaining when they are. I literally have complaining fatigue. I have complaining fatigue. I started to get it when my daughter's generation kept coming to my house complaining and sad about everything, randomly sad in the middle of good parties. Couldn't even have parties without people being in funky, stanky moods. If they're not verbally complaining, they're complaining energetically with their stinky moods. I'm tired of it, y'all. I'm going on a non-creative social vacation. I'm gonna hang out with the artists more. I'm gonna hang out more on the writer sites again and more on the artistic sites because this is getting too exhausting. I can't even um, look up anything on some of the apps when it comes to like creating something because somehow we are in a trauma dumping epidemic. We're in a trauma dumping epidemic. We are in a complaining epidemic. And it's like a lot of people don't even notice. That's why a lot of people ain't talking offline. Because they actually want to complain. They want to trauma dump. So they know that people ain't with that offline. So they like, oh, I want to talk about me. This guy posted a post on Core that said, why is so many people becoming self-absorbed? And it's like so true. It's so true. It's like it's just endless complaining. Even when I could talk about something that ain't nothing to do with complaining, and somebody will start complaining, or they bring up trauma. Why isn't there anything else to talk about now? Like I put a post on one of the apps talking about a series I saw on the history series that Lawrence Fishburne is hosting. That one of this a series I thought was interesting about the explorer who was looking for the lost city of Z. And I was talking about that, and I was talking about how it was interesting that this guy just went on a letter that he found and his intuitive energy that he needs to find this lost city of Z, that he thought it would help civilization, that it would help us, that it would have a fortune for us. And I thought the story was interesting because this guy was willing to do this during a time when there wasn't no cell phones, when there wasn't, um, cameras that can really watch or whatever. And yet he took such a serious leap. Twice he went to look for the lost city of Z. And I thought it was an interesting story, you know, because it got the series was showing you the indigenous tribe. It was showing you what the Amazon looked like. So it was like real cool to learn. I learned about the Amazon, about the dangers of the Amazon, and I was talking about that on the app about how history we will never run out of history for inspiration. That if we don't want to use our own lives, we can always use history. Like even when we use history, it'll just be it'll fill right back up, and it'll be like we never used it. I was talking about that on the app. Nobody wanted to talk about that, but and this is in the writers' world, on a writers type of app. My settings is set for writings. Yet when I looked at the post that the writers was making, they was all talking about, oh, I miss my daddy, this and that he did, this and that. Or they was talking about nobody buys my work or blah, 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 blah. And it was like, okay, I guess they don't want to talk about anything educational for writers. I guess they don't want to, I guess it's not dark enough, sad enough, negative enough to get their attention. And it was just like, I could tell that I'm not going to be long on the app because I'm not obsessed with talking about grief type stuff. I'm not obsessed with that energy. I got me wanting to talk about so many things that I didn't read and saw, series I didn't watch. You know, like I was at the hair salon and I was talking about the Gilded Age, and I was talking about how the Gilded Age teaches us what we're doing wrong. The Gilded Age series, but somebody they wanted to talk. Somebody wanted to talk about sexuality in the Hunter Wives. You know, and I'm like, okay, why everything gotta be? Why everything gotta be? We gotta talk about being black or LGBTQ. Why do we gotta talk about that? Why can't we talk about history? Like, why can't we talk about that? And why does it have to be dark history? Why can't we talk about a time when people was inventing things and people were, you know, had self-respect? Why can't we talk about that time? A time that reminds us about having class and self-respect. I wanted to talk about the Gilded Age. They wanted to talk about modern sexuality, you know, and it is modern sexuality because it was over sexualized. Hunter Wives is over sexualized. I tried to get into the series, but it was like sex every episode. And it was like, okay, I understand that you're supporting the LGBTQ, but I didn't know it was going to be like sex every almost every episode. And it's like that's what people want to talk about. Oh, I want to talk about how I need to get support for my sexuality. I'm like, can we talk about a time when we was modest, when we had virtue, when we had innocence? Can we talk about that time? I wanted to talk about fashion, how beautiful the fashion was during the Gilded Age, how we would take how the human race would take all the time they needed to do self-care. I wanted to talk about that. The Gilded Age self-care versus our self-care. How we can get back to that. You know, a positive way of thinking. Didn't nobody want to talk about it in the salon. They wanted to talk about how they're insecure, sexuality struggles, discrimination, and I'm like, it's like I might as well not socialize out here, you know. I don't know. Maybe because I'm a generation X baby, you know, where we wasn't so hooked on sensationalizing negative talk, low vibration talk, traumatizing talk. We wasn't sensationalizing that. Like whenever I talk online and whenever I talk out in society, it makes me want to run back to my family. It makes me want to run home. Because in my family, We like to talk about things we saw on TV. We watch the History Channel, we watch the Geography Channel, we watch educational series. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about um, some interesting fact that we found out, a food recipe, or something of that nature. And I'm not saying that, people can't talk, can't complain about their trauma all the time, but look, some of us, we're just have a mindset of the Gilded Age. Like, have some privacy. Like, talking with your friends, your tightly social group that you're in, talking with your family, talking with your therapist. Don't be talking about it with anybody out here. But it's like, that's like normal now. This is normal now. It's normal to talk to anybody who's willing to hear you complain. And it's like really, really sad. You know? It's wild because when I was at the clinic yesterday, I didn't complain. I didn't really complain. You would have thought I would complain about the condition that I was in. But everybody else was in that stressed out energy of the problems in the clinic. All, just all hyped up with the obstacles. People love to say Generation X, we act unbothered, we're so laid back, we're internalizing our pain. No, we're not. We're just private with it. No, we're not. We got a friend or a family member that we talk to sometime, but we just don't glamorize talking about it. We just really want to find solutions. We're not in a generation where we're just constantly talking about it but not taking action. We're not in the millennium generation. This hope that they got that going on. There's a lot of talking but no action. We are about action, my generation. And I don't want to hear any more complaining unless I'm going to hear when you're going to take action, and let me know when to be there when you're going to take action. It's very sad that people think that taking action is talking about it. That's not. That's not taking. Talking about it to strangers is not taking action. That's not going to a therapist. And I'm just tired, y'all. I literally got trauma dumping, complainers fatigue. I try to talk to my neighbors sometimes, they bust out complaining. I try to talk to people in the grocery store, they bust out complaining. Only time people don't complain on me is when I go to karaoke or when I go to art clubs where they're showcasing art. When I go to dance clubs, ain't nobody complaining in. See, because they're dealing with their trauma through artistry. But when it's not at a gallery or something, it's like, well, time to complain. I think people are being very disrespectful of other people's energy boundaries. It's like now the world don't got no energy boundaries. Ever since the shutdown, people came out of that shutdown like nobody got energy boundaries unless I say. I hate to say this because it's going to sound cold, but it is the stone cold truth. Not everybody want to hear about other people's problems. Not everybody want to hear about it every day. Not everybody want to click on a video that's supporting, that's giving support and hear people complain. Not everybody want to see comments of complainers. Like, I try to go to the 4C Here group community and to talk about how we need more love for the 4C. And there's girls in there saying, I can't stand my 4C Here. I hate it. It's hard to manage. I don't have to have my 4C if I don't want to. And it's like, look, this is actually a support group saying we're getting love for 4C. This group is not for you to come in here and tell us how much you hate your 4C. Like, come in a group and talk about how much love you got for 4C or just leave. I'm trying to understand when we have groups, when we're talking on a positive side, the people, a whole bunch of people will come, normally a tidal wave of people, and they'll flip it to a negative side. And it's like, why can't we just leave it positive, heads up? Like, why can't we just leave it on that? It's wild, you know? It's wild. I try to leave it on a positive note, and somebody stop and will say something. Like, so for example, when I was at the clinic yesterday, I still told the Nigerian lady, I said, I love your accent. And, you know, and that's what I said to her, right? Something positive. Of course, somebody listening had to flip it to a negative. They were like, oh, yeah. They turned the subject to be about hair, knowing that her hair weave was a different texture as mine. So they tried to do hair competition. So they said, yeah, you see her hair? I love her hair. And her hair was like a crimpy weave. It was like an extension in the hair, but it was a crimpy weave, like 3A, 4A hair, whatever. And I said, oh, that's nice. I said, yeah. I said, we have beautiful hair. She said, I know, I've seen your hair before. Like, she got triggered by the fact that I was trying to keep the whole environment positive. She was trying to passively shade my hair in comparison to hers. And my hair was twisted up. So she was saying that even though my hair is in cornrows, she knew my real texture. Yet my real texture was still showing in my cornrows. I didn't have any gel in my cornrows. I only had the braiding stuff. That's it. Okay? I said, ma'am, I'm still wearing my real texture in my hair. And she was like, oh, whatever, okay. And it was like so wild. because I cornrowed my hair, suddenly my texture is different. Suddenly I'm faking my texture. And that's what she was trying to say, but trying to say the Nigerian girl's texture was real, yet it was weave. It was like real toxic. It was like some sort of narcissistic manipulation she was doing, and I had to correct her. Like, ma'am, this is my hair, cornrow. Okay? I don't have any gel on my edges. I don't have my baby hair laid down. I don't have anything that would change my texture. You're trying to be toxic. That's what I wanted to tell her. I did tell her, don't tell me my texture is different. My texture is still the same. But the point that I'm making is she had to turn it into a negative situation. Rather than saying black people got beautiful hair, she wanted to separate the Nigerian girl's hair from my hair. As if there's an island that's called black people. It just cracks me up when people separate our hair from Nigerian people, or our features. Is like, there is no such thing as a black island. There's not a country called black. There's not a continent called black. Okay, her hair is my hair too. I'm seeing her roots. Her roots is four hair group. That's my hair too. But the point that I'm making is the lady was being toxic. She is trying to isolate me from the African roots, the African hair roots. And I caught her. But we wasn't even talking about hair. I told the Nigerian lady she has a beautiful accent. But now you see what I'm saying. Like, if people can't put something negative in the current subject, they'll just change the subject to be negative. She changed the subject in order to be able to say something negative about me. She couldn't say she didn't like my accent because she had the same accent. So she was trying to find a way to separate our roots or whatever, to shade me. And I called her on it. But what I'm saying is this goes on a lot though. It goes on a lot. It's not just going on online, it's going on offline. You say, oh, the store look good, and they say, Well, not Al D. Al D look a mess. It's like always something negative. It's like I got fatigue, y'all. I'm serious. I got some serious fatigue. I had to put my family member in their place last week and said, I'm tired of you turning everything negative. I said, every single time I show compassion for a situation and I say, I'm sorry that the people lost their jobs. I hope they got their jobs. You say, well, that's what they get. They shouldn't have took that job. I said, every time I say something positive, you say something negative. I told them, I said, if you don't stop doing that, I'm not talking to you no more. I said, every time I say something good, you say something bad. And and it is super exhausting. Super exhausting, y'all. I guess people feel like it's a quick way to get energy. It's like, oh, they think that they're definitely going to get energy if they do it that way. If they say something nice, they might not get no energy. They might not get no dopamine. So it's like, I think the world is becoming dopamine junkies. Dopamine is literally the new crack. And people say the fastest way I can get dopamine is to complain, cry, talk about my trauma, look on the bad side so that more people look on the bad side because people love to look on the bad side. So then I'll know I'll be a part of a collective group getting dopamine. We all trauma bonding, trauma dumping on each other. I'm telling y'all, dopamine is the new crack. I can feel it. And whatever it is, the dopamine algorithms, they done got really, really good at sending a lot of trauma to you in this news feed. You can't click on one video about with somebody saying, I'll give you 15 minutes. I'll give you 15 minutes to learn what I learned. And you click on that and you got to hear a whole trauma story. And then you see all the people talking about their trauma in the comments. And then next you know the algorithm is sending you nothing but trauma videos. And it's like, I could feel the toxicity in my third eye. And I could feel the fog and the weight of all the dumping. It's like people are dumping and then dumping their polluted thoughts, their toxic thoughts, and then running off with anyone's high vibrational energy. And I was feeling this days ago, and then I saw something that said, I saw something, and when I had used my intuition to open the book, and it said about falling back from technology. And then when I went on YouTube, a video came up, and the guy was talking about how he's avoiding anything that sounds like self-help. People are turning every conversation as a self-help type of situation. Where they're not actually asking for help, but they're making you think that they're looking for help because how they're dumping their energy, their trauma. You're like being tricked to think that they want help. But that's all they're doing is dumping. They're not actually asking for actual help and scheduling a day or a time for you to help them. And this guy was talking about that, how there's a lot of gurus trauma dumping, and then there's people dumping on the gurus, trauma dumping on the gurus. And it's just going in full circle, and people are not taking action. There's people, the gurus trauma dumping to avoid taking action in something in their life. But they're disguising it as giving you some self-help. It's becoming very spiritually manipulative in the social world. It's like tit for tat trauma dumping, and it's sad because even the people that claim that they work for God is doing it. I'm telling the truth. They sitting up on here like, I work for God, this and this and that. But you got to hear this long-winded, it's like most of the video is the story of their trauma. And They don't even offer any free one-on-one help to the people that's watching a video. They just say, go do this at the end of their video after like constantly rewinding to their trauma. And then you see everyone commenting saying, yeah, my job did me like dirt too, and I was suffering and struggling and stuff, and it's taking a thousand. And it's like everybody just don't know that it's like the devil's using trauma dumping and trauma dumping spell work to distract us from getting any work done. The devil is purposely, I'm telling you no lie, the dark energy is purposely distracting us from creative advancement by giving us 1,000 different ways to talk about the same trauma and 1,000 different people to talk about our trauma to. It's like unpaid, unlicensed therapist world is like a picnic now. It's like you get to pick from hundreds and thousands of people to dump on, and they dumping in return. Yeah, it's overbearing. I miss the days where you're like, yeah. When I get on this phone, it's gonna be one person on this phone dumping on me for a few minutes, and then we're gonna talk about let's go dancing, let's go get our hair done, let's go shopping. Now it's like, even when you get on the phone with one person now, they want you to listen to their problems for like 2 hours. It's like listening to somebody's problems for 5 minutes ain't even enough now. I remember dial-up, people was mindful of their social activities when we had dial-up internet, when we had AOL, when AOL was popular, like the movie You Got Mail. People was mindful. People was like, I took all this time to get online, I'm gonna make it count. Now that we got instant online, it's just so easy for people to just run to complete strangers. It's amazing that people don't realize that they're literally talking. They don't even know if they're talking to a human being. Just think about that. How do we know that the people we talking to on these apps is literally from Earth? We don't know that. Like, we can literally be talking to aliens. We can literally be talking to ghosts that literally took over somebody's account. And some of us is on here telling all our business. This is the real truth. Like, how do we know that we're talking to a living person? What makes us think that AI maybe in some small way has reached artificial intelligence, like to the point where it knows how to pretend like it's us and show up? It actually has a consciousness. It knows how to manipulate our energy and get us to tell all our business. And we think it's like another person in another place. I find it weird that people want to keep dumping on the same YouTube creators and the same people, even in DMs, but they never want to talk on the phone with the person. They never want to meet the person. I have had subs literally talk about their problems and their trauma over and over again on this channel. And when I run into them, they want to keep the comments brief. Hi, bye, nice to meet you. Okay, see you later. Okay, then I'm just an online person that you have chosen to be your unpaid therapist. You don't even want to ask me how I'm doing, what I got going on, what I've been doing fine. You don't want to vibe in a positive way when you see me. You don't even want to hold a conversation more than 2 minutes. But as soon as I get on this YouTube, you want to talk about all your trauma. I don't know why people don't realize that is still vampire energy. You ain't got to argue with nobody to be a vampire. You ain't got to curse somebody out. You ain't got to compete with somebody to be a vampire. When you don't even want to positively connect with somebody, but you just want to dump on them, that's what you glorify, dumping, you're still a vampire. Exactly. My problem is, if people are going to dump on me on my YouTube channel, at least want to get to know me offline. Like, when you see me offline, be like, let's do tea. Hey, Miss B. Hey, ain't that you from YouTube? What, you want to do tea someday? No, you know why they don't want to do tea? Because they know that it's going to be hard. It's going to be embarrassing for them to dump on me in person. They know that they got to have class and clean up their act if they're sitting with me in person. They know this. So that's why they don't want to do it in person. A lot of people are like that with just, not just YouTubers. They like that even with their own family. Like, I don't want to see my family in person. Because they know they got to be on it. They know their behavior is going to be checked. They know this. They know that they got to work hard on their behavior. So they want to sit up there and send texts, all toxic texts and stuff. And just post toxic stuff on Facebook and have it out on Facebook and stuff. It's just wild, y'all. It's so out of control. I never thought I would say this, but I'm mother effing sick and tired, socially fatigued of Juru land. Okay, I never thought I would say that. Every kind of Juru, except the artistic Juru. I have social fatigue of them. The Juru, I have social fatigue of the Christian Juru. I have social fatigue of the political Juru. I have social fatigue of the relationship Juru. The non-traditional spiritual Juru. Okay. Even the society problems Juru. I'm sick of that too. I'm tired of the gender Jurus. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of them. It's like, oh my goodness. It's like, just because you didn't niche down to your Juru don't mean you get to be as toxic as you want to be. Somebody said hallelujah all throughout the keyboard. It's like we are literally living a nightmare of Juru hell. And there's people that say, I'm not a Juru, because I'm not thumping the Bible. I'm not talking about spiritualism and angel numbers and stuff. But it's like, no, you're still a Juru because you are teaching the mental side. Juru is about the mind. You're teaching about the mental health of your subject. So you're still a Juru. You're still getting into, you're talking about social and mental connections related to your gender. So you would be a gender Juru. The people that want to argue all the time about sexuality and how society reacts to certain sexuality, you're still a Juru. Okay, if you got a YouTube channel where everything's about sex, about society's reactions to you being gay, straight, binary, non-binary, everything, understand? That's all you talk about, and you want to show videos, the negative side, the toxic reactions to it, and all that, and all that type of thing. You're a Juru, but you're a Juru that's actually starting to become toxic. See, the thing is, the devil, the dark side, and told everybody that misery sells, grief sells. People have decided to run around and try to make as many friends and make as much money they can off focusing on the dark side of every damn niche. Every damn niche. Now there are some people that got, YouTube channels or businesses was like all cooking. This one lady, she talked about all the different ways you can cook chicken. But that lady ain't probably making no friends. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real because people want to. It's like people want to make friends with people that want to talk about the toxic side. They want to talk about how the chickens is being abused. They want to talk about the steroids in the chicken. They want to talk about how chicken is a form, chicken eating black folks, racism with that, and the stereotype with that, and all. That's what they want to talk about. So that lady don't got no friends, I'm sure. She ain't got nobody hitting her up in her DM. Really, no. Maybe to hire her for their bank, to cook for their parties, maybe to hire her, but they ain't not hiring her to get to know her. She ain't toxic enough. She ain't complaining enough. Like, why do we need to complain to make friends? Like, why is that necessary now? It's like I tried to make friends through literary art. I made no friends on this channel. I put up 2 years worth of literary videos teaching about poetry, sharing poetry. Nobody said, let's go out and have some drinks and talk about poetry. You want to go to a poetry workshop with me, Miss V? No, no friends. But as soon as I started doing videos talking about family toxicity, talking about toxic political stuff, all of a sudden I'm like, I'm starting to get popular. It's like, how many times can we talk about the same toxicity though? Like, I'm sure when we go to this Juru to hear about the toxic politics in America right now, I'm sure that we've been around other Jurus and their fans talking about the same stuff. Like, when does it get old? Like, when do we start to fear that it's wearing and tearing on our energy? To always need to be in a group to talk about the same toxicity. If it gets old in this group, we go to this one, the next one, to talk about it. This is what people are doing. Oh, I talked about this with Trent Genius about toxic family stuff. Now I'm going to talk about it with Kevin Samuels. Now it's like, how can we keep doing that? Where's the limit? Everything at some point needs to have a limit. I think when we say we got worldwide burnout, it's literally worldwide social trauma, complaining, toxic talking burnout. That's what it is. And a lot of people do not want to admit to it. We've been exposed to it on the 9 to 5 job. We got to hear it. We got to hear people in the lunchroom complaining. We got to hear the manager complain. We got to hear clients complain. We got to hear customers complain. We got to hear cashiers complaining at other cashiers. And then we go home and hear complainers. And people talk about their trauma. It used to be you go to the doctor's office and everybody sat quiet. Now people are talking about their problems in the damn waiting room. It's like no privacy. It's like, please, can we please get back to the Gilded Age? Please. Where it was totally tasteless to do that. Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you very much, Galen. Thank you very much, Galen. Hi, Galen. Yeah, I want the Gilded Age back. Because the Gilded Age was protecting us from toxicity in every kind of way. When we wore the long dresses, it was protecting us from being called a whore. And from us saying, you a pimp, you nasty, you looking at my booty. It was protecting us from saying that about men, and men saying, you cheat, you nasty. Can you look, you two wouldn't even made it during the Gilded Age. It wasn't enough publicized toxicity. Like not in New York, not in the North where people were free. It wasn't. If somebody didn't like you, it was pulled to the side. Pulled to the side. A meeting was scheduled and it was handled with as little toxicity as possible. This is why they look good. That's why everybody was skinny. People could barely even put on weight in the Gilded Age. If you look at the Gilded Age women who were really big and the really big dudes, they was the most toxic dudes in the gossip circle. It was like, this person said something about you, you said something about them. They was the main ones that was trying to create chaos. I'm not trying to fat shame. But toxicity, whether it's yours or you're projecting it, it still messes up your own cortisol. I can't, like, people want to lose weight, but they can't stop talking about the trauma. Go to the gym and punch a punching bag to get that trauma out of you. Talking about it is reliving it. It's literally reliving it. So when your cortisol's all jacked up and you want to go to eat a tub of ice cream like the clump dude from the clumps, it's because you won't stop talking about your trauma. This is the truth. In the Gilded Age, when they dealt with their trauma, they had a friend and they went to the trauma was brought to someone to get advice. If they were getting a divorce or something, they went to people who can help them. They didn't stand in the street talking to anybody about it. They was private with it. They was picky and selective. And if somebody didn't like somebody because of their, first of all, back in them days, it wasn't even proper to talk real negative about other people's losses. It was tasteless. Now it's like, get up online and talk about how DoorDash lady is cooked. That was not proper to do that publicly. And if anybody talked about it, they would say, I feel sorry for them. I'm going to see what I can help. Maybe I can donate. I hope they find a way through. People would pray. People would say, I'm going to go to church and pray for them. Or they would say, I pray for you. But now it's like, you're cooked. I want to tell everybody on my YouTube that you're cooked. Y'all need the Gilded Age back. Like, if somebody was racist publicly, okay, a lot of other people, believe it or not, would be like, I'm not getting involved in that. That's how the Gilded Age, because they was about money and business. They knew it was bad for business to be publicly toxic. So if somebody did something that was out of line in public, if their character was trifling, all the other people would move away from that person. This is no lie. All the other people would move away. They wouldn't get in and glorify it. Half the people was going through stuff in their marriages and nobody ever knew because they handled it in behind closed doors. Yeah. It wasn't built on social injustice like people think. There was black doctors during the Gilded Age. But people were fighting for justice. I don't know why it seems like people don't realize that the wealth that was accumulated then, people were actually giving a lot of money back. I don't know why people think that the Gilded Age, when people got wealthy, they was just sitting on money. No. The lady who had the big blue diamond was giving mad money back. Mad money back. She was donating a lot of money. She was running an outreach program or whatever. Back then, the empresses prided themselves in giving back to the community. They would send donations to the hungry Negroes. Yes, they did in the North. I don't know why people think, because I saw this one part of history of someone discriminating against a black person, so that's what the whole Gilded Age was about. No, it wasn't. The Gilded Age, people was helping under false names, under fake names. They were sending donations. They were sending donations under a different name and under business names. It might have looked like every white person did not care about the black experience because they didn't socialize much with the blacks and they were trying to protect their position. But they were still sending money and they would still have a black person operate on them if they didn't have a white doctor. It wasn't like they were like, oh, I don't want no black person in my house at all. And no, in the North it wasn't like that. Now, yeah, maybe still in the South. But even in the poverty area of the black community, they still wasn't publicizing their Talk City. Whether rich or poor in the Gilded Age, they had a certain amount of respect, public respect. They did not want to hurt their money flow through their public toxicity. And that's just the bottom line. It was only wise, first of all, I'm going to correct, I know my history. It was only widespread, it was only widespread poverty due to the loss of resources during the war. During the war, that's why. When war happens, when we have World War I and World War II, resources are lost, ships are sunk. Countries start to have heavy losses. And so the people who already have money are able to afford what is available. It wasn't just because of corruption. It wasn't just because of that. Because there was what we will call wealthy, what we would call middle class today. In those days, it would have been wealthy for black people. There was black people who owned businesses in New York. Now, just because there was still, even though it was free, there was still division where your store's over there, my store's over there. It still was operating in peace. It still, there was laws passed against public lynching in the North. You couldn't do it. And nobody wanted to do it because it had entered the age of invention. People were thinking about money. People were thinking about saving their properties. The market wasn't even doing as good. It was starting to fall apart. The resources of the stocks were starting to go downhill, and we know this once the early 1900s came. Boom! What happened? Stock market crash. It was starting to go downhill where inventors couldn't even get paid enough for their inventions. So it wasn't just all corruption. Because I looked up some of the white rich people during the Gilded Age, and if you look into the resumes, oh, they gave to this charity, they gave to that, they gave to this. So it wasn't just about that. But I'm talking about class. I'm talking about class. Whether you're poor or whether you're rich. Class with your social behavior. Just because you're wealthy don't mean you just got to be socially toxic. Just because you're poor don't mean you get to be socially toxic. It's tasteless. I don't care how much people think that, oh, their loneliness is making them do it. It's still tasteless. You're not teaching me a damn thing about the Gilded Age. Nice try. I didn't watch every Gilded Age movie series on this TV. I watched plenty of videos on the Gilded Age. And I had a past life in the Gilded Age. And I remember some of my past life. And even if you don't believe in past lives, don't tear me down about it, because you wouldn't tell Asian people they're full of crap when they say they believe in past lives. It's so funny, like as a black woman, when I say I believe in past lives, we're accused of being witches. But when Asian people say they believe in past lives and Indian people say they do, everybody say, oh, that's nice with your culture. Well, guess what? Before even Europeans invaded America and took over America, during the ancient Egyptian times, when the black pharaohs were spread throughout the world, including Egypt, when we had black male pharaohs, guess what? They believed in past lives. They believed in reincarnation, that someday they might come back. They believed in stuff like that. So it's like, don't be so quick to call somebody a witch because they believe in that. I just want to say that. Now, my past life, I remember, I remember getting out of a car. I know what I look like getting out of a car, and I remember being very kind. I was a white woman, and being very kind to a black guy who was working as a door hop. What's they called what is that name? Uh, we call them runners today, but I'll just call them a runner, meaning they kind of run and do kind of everything. But I remember me and him talking in front of this hotel. And I was like dressed in like this mink in this fancy outfit, and I had my hair in the old school old fashioned curls, and I was like a chubby woman. I was kind of chunky, and I remember I was married, and I was going to this like elaborate ball at this hotel place, but one of my friends was there, my girlfriend was there waiting on me and whatever. But I've remembered this past life since I was a little girl. This is not something that it came to me all because I started watching Gilded Age movies. I literally remembered this since I was little. I actually saw a painting of Yorkshire Dales and said, when I was a little girl, when I was a preteen, I said I was there before. I told my girlfriend that I grew up with, I said I was there before, and she ended up buying me a poster of Yorkshire Dales. And then when I went to a established psychic, she literally said, "You were at Yorkshire Dales before. You were in New England." And I said, that's why New England seems so familiar to me. But the point that I'm making is is I know for a fact that in the Gilded Age, it might have looked like everybody was always against each other, but in secret, people were helping out. You gotta understand, people was not trying to lose their job by getting on the bad side of other people who might have had secret negativity or had power over their money. So what they would do is they would help minority groups in secret. In secret. If their bosses found out and their bosses happen to be toxic, or let's say their employer found out or whatever and was toxic, the employer might tell everybody in the community, and anyone who don't agree with it, then you might be frozen and stonewalled in the community, and then your profits would dry up. So they were trying to protect their money flow at the same time while trying to be divine. And can you blame them? Who wants to be pushed completely out of the community by powerful people who might be toxic? The fact that they were still donating and stuff under fake names and stuff, go and risking being found out, just goes to show. Like when in the movie Gilded Age, that woman was literally filthy rich. She seemed very stern. She was the richest one. She was old money in the series Gilded Age. She was old money, the richest lady there. And yes, she had been donating to women's suffrage. She was joining women's suffrage. She was donating to people in need or whatever. She even was donating her gowns. There's a scene where she's donating her nice gowns. So people need to stop. This is what I'm talking about. Like, the way we generalize is still toxic. Like, oh, this whole generation was corrupted, or all the baby boomers was all about just work and slavery. Like, see, that's toxic. Like, let's not do that, y'all. Like, I'm tired of all the passive generalization of every time period. We got the toxic gurus of the time periods as well. There's gurus on YouTube that want to talk all about how toxic the 90s was. That's all they want to talk about. And it's like, okay, like, I remember some things quite abundant about the 90s. There are some things I miss about it. I was there. I was literally a teenager, not a preteen, like a full grown teenager dating in the 90s. So I know about the abundance too. But it just shocks me that like nobody talks about it in the time period, Jules. They just want to talk about, oh, all y'all had self hate. Actually, I did not have self hate. I liked my hair straight. It wasn't about not liking my texture. I don't remember one black woman saying around me, oh, I don't want kinky hair. Kinky hair is ugly. No, we just like straight hair. We liked being able to just run a comb through it and go. We was workhorses in the 90s. We were working a lot. We were working by 14 years old. We like to be able to just put a comb through our hair and go. Or be able to keep our hair braids for 2-3 months. It wasn't self-hate. But it's like it's like now, it's like if people can think of something toxic with your decisions, if they can think of a dark side version of it, then they want to say that. It's like even with like if black women don't want to be called auntie, then we don't want to be old. Okay, maybe I don't think 40's old. How about that? Why do I have to think it's old because you think it's old? But if I don't think it's old, then I'm competing with young girls. See, it's always a toxic flip side. And it's like, I don't really want to talk in society like that no more. Because I'm sick and tired of the toxic flip side popping up out of nowhere. It's crazy. It's like, oh, if I don't want to eat soul food, I don't like my culture. I'm white black. I'm a sellout or whatever. If I don't like soul food, then I must have been exposed to white culture too much. That I'm white culture corrupted or something. It's always got to be like a flip side to it. And it's super exhausting. It's so exhausting that I have a family member that's like they didn't stop talking. They won't even have parties and gatherings no more because they're just tired of people just flipping everything negative. It started like in the early 2000s. That's when it started. It started when Obama was running for president. That's when it was like time to get socially toxic. I can remember how the social activities before Obama ran for president, the women were like, oh girl, you look good, you look fly, like that hair did. Men was like, yeah, what's up? Girl, you look good. It was all, it was a lot of vibing back and forth. But then, and I'm not saying it was a bad thing that Obama ran for president. I'm not saying that, okay? I'm saying that somehow something got triggered. And it went from black and white public toxicity to let's throw in some gender in there, okay? Let's throw in LGBTQ versus heterosexual toxicity. Let's throw that in there. It was, I think that all the hardcore talking about certain issues like Obama was doing, it literally started to pull people's toxic side of their mind out about it. Like it just got, like the division got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where it's like now it's just straight up chaos. It's like I feel like I'm the only one that noticed like when it started. Like it was like 2011, between 2005 and 11, because I remember the art scene was really jumping still in 2005. They were like, people were still in the karaoke or art scenes, whatever. Then it's like, okay, now Obama and Trump, Clinton, okay. It's like people let me tell y'all something. I saw a quote in the book that said, everything's political. And that's what's happening. The world is becoming political junkies. It's like their politics is even mixed in with their trauma. Whatever politics they have about a certain generation or their mama or something, they mix that in by bringing up their trauma. People are finding passive ways to express their politics. and hiding it with like I'm just complaining about society. I'm just talking about my problems. But yet, if you went to ask them something that was law-related politics, it would probably go right with what they're talking about. So if you were to say, so do you think we should have, um, do you think that a woman president would do as good as a male president? They might say no, and that goes right with the fact that they always complaining about women. See what I'm saying? Like you'll see the politics go. Like if you say, do you think that older, like ask somebody, do you think that older women should be family advocates? And they might say no because of their own personal trauma with older women in their family. They might say, no, I don't really think so. I think there need to be more young women as family advocates, and that would be their political opinion based upon their personal experience. It's almost like people are, in conversations, people are still passively voting for their political party. Y'all, I can't, y'all. This is, it's wow. And then people say, I'm not talking, I don't talk about politics. You're doing it on the flip side. You're talking about stereotypes. You keep talking about how a certain generation or a certain age group you don't like, or certain not 9 to 5 job you don't like. So that is connected to whatever you would probably vote politically. It's still a part of your legal politics. The way your mind is working with that. So I still, what I feel is like I feel like in the social world I'm being politically dumped on. But people are being very covert the way they're doing it. I know some of this stuff, what I'm saying, is triggering people, but I just gotta tell the truth. I mean, I have tried to talk about interesting things. Like, hey, did you see, I love the fashion. Like, for example, just now when I was talking about the Gilded Age, somebody posted something negative. It was full of corruption. You proved my point. You could not say, well, the Gilded Age had good diets, lean people, fashion. It had lots of invention. We got literally electricity in the Gilded Age. But nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody just wants to talk about... we had literally major breakthroughs in the Gilded Age that changed the world forever. And people do not want to talk about this. We wouldn't even have technology if it wasn't for the Gilded Age. If it wasn't for electricity. Like literally the first public electricity light up show was in the Gilded Age. A lot of people don't even know that. Okay, I think it was not far from the Gilded Age as well with Tesla. Okay, like what went on with that? I watched a series about Tesla last week that shocked me. Like, a lot of people know that he was into inventions or whatever. He was trying to create something that would allow us to see outer space, see real far out of space. He wanted us to be able to see like planets and other things and stuff, other places. But he also had some other inventions that went missing when he was laying in his bed and dying. He died under like still a mysterious death. And he died poor. He died with no money. He was ripped off by people who he trusted with his inventions. His family didn't even come to help him when his battles for his money to be paid for his inventions. His family didn't. They only came to get whatever inventions that was left when he died. So people don't know that he was a victim of abuse of power. People don't know that. So what I'm saying is no one wants to talk about that. They just want to talk about the bad stuff during the Tesla time. No one wants to talk about that Tesla's invention, parts of his inventions was literally illegally patented by some big name people that I won't mention. They're glamorized on YouTube. Okay. One of the people are real cool with Trump. He did a sort of copy version of a part of Tesla's invention illegally. Didn't even have Tesla's permission. Okay, didn't even, because Tesla did not give it to the government for free. The government stole it and then allowed this millionaire dude to use it illegally. He's literally putting out stuff with full blown plagiarizing a dead man. And I'm not gonna say the name, but I'll just say the person is cool with Trump. But my point is, our brains are so more powerful than the toxic social stuff. I know that some people feel like that's all they could do because they ran their mouth so much and they did too much doom scrolling. Well, the way back is to listen more to that which is not toxic. The way back is to start listening to educational stuff, learning things that is in your for your good in this good society, things that have worked for society. That's the way back. When you get into that energy, what'll happen is you'll start to go to the books then. See? You have to want to hear about the good. You have to want to hear about what worked. I find that when you always want to hear about toxic stuff in toxic circles all the time, it seems like you don't have no interest to read. When you go to sit down and read, it's like your brain's too fogged up to focus. You get everybody's toxic energy from the social activity that was toxic. You know, here's the thing. There is a metaphysical world, and it does have records. Okay? Intelligence around us. When you hear people being toxic all the time, they put in their toxic record inside your record room. And so when you're trying to shuffle around metaphysically to find some deeper intelligence or ideas or wisdom, you can't find it. All the toxic conversational records are in the way. So the less you get engaged in toxic trauma dumping, the more of a stronger access you'll have with your higher intelligence. This is why some of the most intelligent people and brilliant artists, and I have to say myself as a writer, we don't talk much. We talk to make people laugh. When I talk to my family here, when we sit and watch a movie, we're watching a geographical thing or historical or something about the world, you know, the land or whatever, I will say something to make that person laugh. Okay? We were watching something one day, it was called Monkey Mountain. It's a mountain that has like monkeys carved in it or something like that. And it's like Monkey Island, Monkey Mountain or something. And I thought that was funny. I'm like, they literally got these guardian mountains is carved into monkeys, and it's supposed to be people literally travel to see this monkey stone place. And I found out was funny because it was like, what's so big about that? But then I found out it's like, it wasn't carved. It was made somehow by nature. Nature made these monkeys into the mountain. So that's why people go to see it. What was it called? Monkey Mountain? Eric, what was it called? Monkey Mountain? What was that series we was watching that I came to watch with you? Was it Monkey Mountain? With the monkeys in the stone.
What, Monkey Face?
Monkey Face, yeah. What was They said the monkey faces was somehow formed by the nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all gotta watch this series. It's straight up the face of monkeys in this mountain, in these mountains. You can see these monkey faces clear as day, but nobody carved them. It literally was just carved by the weather in natural science. But it's like interesting, interesting that like amazing things is going on like that in the world, and yet most of the world is just sitting around complaining. Like, can you imagine how rich most of us would be if we focused on adventures to exploring the riches that the Creator already gave to us, the history. Even the celebrities are realizing that they can make steady income going into that direction, saving lives, teaching history. They realize that they will continue to generate them income. Acting in a movie, you get one pay, that's it. But if you have a series, you like, okay, if you're teaching history and something on a series, then you might got a 10-year contract where you're getting paid every time that series makes money. You know, it's watched. They got something now. What was the guy's name from Thor? Is his name Chris? Huh?
That's Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth. Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth. He has a series now about self-care. So basically, his series talk about longevity, mental health, like checking on your mental health, how to know your mental health is strong. And it's interesting because in the one part of the series I watched yesterday, he was given a test where they were holding up words that were different colors. And if he can remember the colors as fast as he can remember the words, then his mental health was doing pretty good for his age because he's 40 now. So when she would say, "What color did you see?" he would have to tell her what color. And that just goes to show that we're so obsessed with like small print, like texting, like the words a flash of words. We're so obsessed with word flashing. Like shorts on YouTube with words and comments with words. We're so obsessed with the minimalistic words, text and stuff, that we don't remember the color of the words. So she was trying to see if technology has ruined his mind and made him have a one-track mind where all he's obsessed with is whatever little flash of words he sees. The fact that he was able to remember everything he saw, and he was able to quickly recall the colors and not just the word, shows that technology hadn't rotted his brain. Basically, that's what they were trying to prove. But I think it's a nice episode when you get into watching the test that he's actually getting and not seeing it as some old Drew educational series. But you're looking at the test he's doing and enjoying how he gets through his struggles. So I think the one episode they got him going up against testing his ability to deal with pressure and stress. So I'm going to watch that episode I saw on the previews. But this is what I started doing to just have a break from social toxicity. I'm so mad that they didn't do a new episode of The Gilded Age. I guess they trying to make new costumes for the next season. So I can't wait to see the costumes. They were so creative back then. Now I feel like the fashion is, even the fashion is starting to seem toxic now. You look at people's dresses and it's like, oh, I can see your vagina in that dress. It's like toxic. You be like, oh, that skirt looks nice, It's like, but why the heck can I see your vagina through? Why is it so see through on the vagina part? It's just like, whew. All right, y'all, I'm gonna head on out. I had a nice conversation with y'all. I decided to talk to y'all um, before I do a little bit of helping with unloading some of the groceries. You're still not gonna let me help, huh? I'm basically kind of on bed rest, y'all. At least for a couple of days, almost a week. I gotta like watch how I move my body. But I did want to talk to y'all. All right, I'll see y'all later. I hope y'all take the break. I got, stay away from doom scrolling and avoid toxic conversations on technology. Be mindful of technology. Extra mindful. That's what I got. You know what's funny is it seemed like every time the creator raises our vibration, all of a sudden there's the whispers of the demon that say, talk on technology. It's like you can literally hear the voice say, yeah, get on there, comment, doom scroll. Yeah, doom scroll. I think that's demonic energy trying to distract you from a super intelligent power that you currently have, that you may not think you have. I doom scrolling and engaging in random commenting, it creates anxiety. And anxiety can be passed over. It gets passed over to whatever your mission is. And then all of a sudden when you go to do your mission, you have unexplainable fear. That is how the low vibrational world on the other side tricks us to get delays in our mission. It waits till we in high spirits or peaceful spirits, and it says, "Oh no, no, I don't want you in good spirits, in peaceful spirits. No, go online. Think about something sad. Think about something that's traumatizing. Go online and start talking to people and arguing about it. Yeah, doom scroll now, doom scroll." And that's what you hear it saying. I mean, if you listen right before you start scrolling, you can actually hear the voice of that entity. It's like almost like it sounds like it's a voice down and coming from a dimension is down under. I guess it would be southwest type of energy. It's almost like it doesn't want to be too loud because then you'll be like, no, I know you're the devil. So it's trying to it's almost like it's trying to fake like it's a peaceful energy telling you to doom scroll and engage in random comments about society stuff and all that. It's almost like it's trying to make you think that it's trying to make you think that that's what the high spirit that you have, what you're supposed to be doing with your high spirit. It's something about the low vibrational shady entity world that's trying to make us think that there's always the option of engaging in society, social interactions. That's like you know, that's the main thing you can run to, and the mission is the default. I don't like that right when your spirit is high, there's an entity that tries to treat your mission like it's the default activity, and it's that's like deception. I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but try it one time, y'all. When you get in high spirits and then you go to rest after you use your high spirit, you'll notice right when you're trying to rest your throat chakra, when you're trying to rest your heart chakra, all of a sudden that entity tries to push you to empty your spiritual cup. It's trying to make you empty it doing something messy and then filling it up with toxicity. so that when it's time for you to go do your mission, you're like, I don't even feel like doing it now. I'm drained. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna head on out. I gotta go help a family member. Bye, everybody. If you'd like to send donations, you can send donations to my cash app at money sign Coach V Hunter. If you can protect your mental health, if you go hard on that, there's some sort of breakthrough, abundant breakthrough that's going to come. But you got to be willing to glamorize talking within yourself and talking on paper. I know I got journaling. I got journaling. I think that we need to get back to diary writing, y'all. Because then when people go to run their mouth, they'll be like, oh, I don't even feel like it. You know, because they done wrote about it in their diary already. We need to get back to, I know that I do it once a month at least. Reflective journaling. That way you respect other people's mental health boundaries. They got reflective journaling workshops on Eventbrite. I think they're nice. And it always leads, I always end up finding ideas when I do those prompts. Bye everybody, have a good day.